One. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about week 16 of the NFL season in 2024. It's the last 3 weeks of the NFL regular season. We are getting down to the nitty gritty time, and it's time. It's that time of the year where it's put up or shut up in the NFL and in college football. But first, I'm going to start out with NFL football. So tonight, we have the Denver Broncos and the LA Superchargers playing tonight on Thursday Night Football. Denver, they are 9-5 right now. Los Angeles Chargers, they are 8-5 right now. I said at the start of the season that Denver is 9-5, and the Chargers are 8-5. I said at the start of the season that the Denver Broncos would win 10 games, easily 10 games. And everybody back in August was asking me, Key Time, what are you talking about? Have you looked at the Broncos schedule? I did look at the Broncos schedule, and they are on the cusp of getting 10 wins. If they win tonight, that'll be 10 wins. That'll be my first prediction of the season would be done hit. Now everybody would have to say, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, which I already know what I'm talking about 95% of the time. It's up to y'all to trust in what I say and believe in what I say. I am not here to be biased or persuade you in any different direction, audience and America that is looking at me right now. So now back to the game. The Los Angeles Chargers, they have the top five defense. They have a top five defense in the NFL. Currently, they are number 4 in total points and in total yards allowed. Denver, I have got to give the defensive coordinator for Denver, Vance Joseph, I got to give him credit. He has earned his credit this season because last year it was a debacle at the defensive line last year in Denver. But now, since they have a quarterback in Bo Nix that can pretty much wheel the team down the field, and if the running game is not up to par, Bo Nix can throw his way to a victory. So now we got Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, he is a quarterback for the aforementioned Los Angeles Chargers. He has had an up and down season. Now, these are two head coaches, and Sean Payton for the Denver Broncos and Jim Harbaugh for the Los Angeles Chargers. They are both good coaches. This game just comes down to being able to stop the opponent consistently, because division games, I always say, division games are not going to be blowouts. If they are, then the opponent did not try. But this game, it is going to be a close game throughout. These two teams know each other very well. It is now at that point in the season where you got to win a game. So you have got to win these games. So currently, the Denver Broncos are in the 7th spot in the AFC playoff picture. They will only have to win 2 of their next 3 games. The Los Angeles Chargers are currently 5th in the AFC playoff picture. They have to win at least one more game, and they will have sole possession of that 5th spot in the AFC playoff picture. So the Los Angeles Chargers, they can't move up or down. They are just going to stay right there in that 5th spot. Now, Denver, you are currently in the playoff bracket, but if you lose this, you could be on the outside looking in. And not to mention, there are a couple more teams that are right at the feet of the Denver Broncos, Miami and Cincinnati. So Denver tonight, You got to win this game, but do I see that happening? I don't. I see the Los Angeles Chargers some way, somehow pulling out this win. It is going to be a close game, and I believe that the Los Angeles Chargers will win by a field goal. The next game I'm going to cover is going to be the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Kansas City Chiefs, they have 3 games in 11 days starting this week. I think this game right here is going to be close, but Kansas City will pull it out. Houston Texans, they've had trouble all throughout the season on the offensive side of the ball. They have given up 48 sacks this season, and that is in the top 3 as far as worst offensive lines in the NFL. So Houston Texans have an underachieving offensive line. CJ Stroud, he is pretty much has gone through a sophomore slump this season. And also when it comes to their running backs for the Houston Texans, tight ends and wide receivers, they have been in and out of the lineup every week this season. So now we get to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, and I don't even have to go down a list, but I am. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, and then you have on their defensive side of the ball, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie. Now, Trent McDuffie, he has had a subpar season this year, but it's about to be playoff time, and this is where he rises to the occasion. He has done it the last couple of years. And also, in other news dealing with the Kansas City Chiefs, Marquise Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, he is going to be back, I believe, this week or next week, and he is going to be able to play in the playoffs. So the Kansas City Chiefs offense is getting better with Patrick Mahomes at the helm, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce. Now that's the big 3 right there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, and Travis Kelce. You know that they're gonna get their yards. Now it's time for that defense to put the clamps down on their opponents, because Houston, they are a good team. The next 2 teams that they are going to play, Pittsburgh is a good team, and they are going to finish out the season in the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. So Kansas City, you are a team. You control your own destiny. I believe Kansas City, they have to win these next 3 games and hope that the Buffalo Bills lose one of their final 3 games, and they will have home field advantage. Now, I keep saying if Kansas City gets home field advantage, let's book them a trip for the French Quarter in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Let's just do that, because Kansas City, going up to Kansas City in the playoffs, proves tough to beat Kansas City at home in the playoffs. So as far as this game, I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game by a touchdown. I don't think that they'll win by a field goal. I think that they will win by a touchdown. Currently, they are favored by a field goal, 3 points, but Kansas City, that defense at home, and this is a few days before Christmas, I expect them to come through in this game. The next game I'm going to cover is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, rough and tumble. This is a rivalry here. And throughout the years, these games have always been close, and it will be close again this time. Now, one thing about the Baltimore Ravens, what they have to do is do not mess around and give that joker that you have in the backfield, Derrick Henry, give him the damn ball 25 times and run over the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. You had a chance to do that earlier in the season. If I'm not mistaken, let me go back, week 12. You had a chance to do that in week 12 versus these Pittsburgh Steelers. But But Derrick Henry only had 16 carries for 89 yards. That ain't gonna cut it. That ain't gonna cut it right now. So Baltimore, you are at home. You are favored in this game by 6.5. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense, I still have trepidation when it comes to their offense because they can score 30 one week and then score 17 the next. They scored 48 one time they scored 45 one time this season, and in the next game, they only scored 19. And then you've had two games this season for the Pittsburgh Steelers where they have not scored a touchdown. They've only kicked field goals, and yet they've won the game. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, defensive coordinator. I have no problem with the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but strictly the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to expand your playbook because we are on the cusp of the playoffs. And in the playoffs, every possession means that much more. You only have one game in the playoffs. If you win, you go on. If you lose, you're going home. So this time of year, you have got to start implementing plays that you are going to use throughout the playoffs. This is the perfect time. This is week 16, nitty gritty time. And most teams are in playoff mode because Pittsburgh, they are already making the playoffs. They have clinched the playoff spot. They will be the third seed in the AFC playoffs. Baltimore, you are teetering. You are at the fourth spot right now. Is Baltimore at the fourth spot, then the fifth spot, the Chargers, the sixth spot? I'm not too sure who is at the sixth spot. And there is the Denver Broncos at the bottom of the AFC playoff picture. So now, what kind of offense we are going to see from Pittsburgh? Because last week they laid a goose egg in Philadelphia last week. 13 points and only 169 yards, total yards throughout the game. What kind of offense we are going to see from Pittsburgh? We don't know. It is yet to be seen. But Baltimore, please don't mess around and give up this game. Because if you do, then you are in dire need of winning your last two games to even be relevant in the playoff situation. Now, at the start of the season, we had Kansas City, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. We had Kansas City, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo at the top four spots in the AFC. It's not looking like that right now. We have Kansas City at the top. Then we have Buffalo at the top at number 2. Then we have Pittsburgh 3. And then when we look, Baltimore is at 4. So Baltimore, I think Baltimore, they don't know what to do when it comes to Derrick Henry. That's why I say when it comes to coaching in the NFL, they make it much harder than what it has to be. In football, if you have a bell cow running back that is 260 pounds, 6'5", and that can run over a defensive line on a consistent basis, give that joker the damn ball. And that's what the Baltimore Ravens need to do, and that's what the Baltimore Ravens have to do in this game on Saturday. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I would not be surprised if Pittsburgh upsets Baltimore at home and win this game. But come on, Lamar Jackson. Come on, Zay Flowers. Come on, offensive coordinator. Come on, Derrick Henry. Come on, defensive lineman for the Baltimore Ravens, and will yourself to victory because you need this game. No matter what, it's a must do without fail. So I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this game by 7 points, winning this game by a touchdown. The next game I'm going to cover, this is pretty much a toilet bowl game, a bottom of the barrel game, dumpster juice, dumpster fire, whatever you want to call this game. That's exactly what it is. The New York Giants versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now, over the past 5 games, the Atlanta Falcons have won just one game out of the last 5, and that was Monday night versus the Raiders. Kirk Cousins, over the past 5 games, 1 touchdown and 8 interceptions. Kirk Cousins, he's gotten benched. They put in Michael Penix Jr. Now, everybody around draft time, back in April, everybody was saying that Kirk Cousins is going to call the play, is going to be the starting quarterback. And then a couple of years down the road, everybody was saying that Michael Penix will be ready. But Kirk Cousins, he has had a bad stretch throughout the last month and a half. Now it's time. What does Michael Penix Jr. have in store? I believe that Atlanta, they are going to win this game outright because the New York Giants are a dumpster fire. You got fans you have fans always calling on Mr. John Mara, owner of the New York Giants, to have a complete organizational overhaul, and they need that because the GM, Joe Shine, he haven't done nothing. He has been there for 3 years and hasn't done anything and has only won. Let me see. I want to get this straight. He has only won 8 games because the first season that was a preview of what we see now. Do everybody know what happened the first season that Joe Shine was there? I remember his introductory press conference. He has said that we are going to build around our quarterback and running back. At the time, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley was there. Now, Daniel Jones is in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you have Saquon Barkley right down the street from New York in Philadelphia. And he has just rejuvenated his career since he has joined the Philadelphia Eagles. And now John Mara is saying that he has trouble sleeping at night. You the damn owner of the New York Giants. You shouldn't have trouble sleeping. You should be putting the best general manager, the best team executives. You should have them on your board. But like I've been saying all throughout the season, New York Giant fans, keep doing what you're doing. Give your owner, keep bugging the you know what? I don't usually say this, but it's time for me to say this. New York Giants fans, keep bugging the shit out of your owner because what he did was he shot himself and he shot his team back 10 years because I don't see how you get rid of a quarterback who is basically underperforming, and you are trying now. I'm hearing speculation that you are putting all of your eggs in one basket to get Shedeur Sanders and possibly get Travis Hunter. Now, Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. Shedeur Sanders is not coming to the Big Apple for neither the Jets or the Giants. He is not coming to the Big Apple because throughout the organization, the Giants, they need to work on everything. They need to go back to the drawing board and find out what they did back in the day when it came to Phil Simms and Eli Manning, and then find a way to replicate that and change it up to the 2025 model that will be the New York Giants. But as of right now, the Giants are in disarray. The New York Jets are in disarray. Every team that is in the Big Apple, no matter no matter what league that they are in disarray. Now, let me switch on over to the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, you've swept the you swept the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but you are in second place in your division. Kirk Cousins, he has had a slump and he hasn't been able to get out of that slump. You are currently 7-7 and on the outside looking in at the playoffs. You had a 3-game lead at the end of October when it comes to the division in the NFC South. But now you've went on before the Raiders game, you were experiencing a 4-game losing streak. You won versus the Raiders. Quarterback change comes. Michael Penix is at the helm now. And let's see what the Atlanta Falcons can do. They are at home this week. You should not lose this game to a 2-12 team. Atlanta, ATL, win this game, and you still have a chance at making the playoffs. The next game I'm going to cover is the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears. Now, a few weeks back, Thanksgiving, Chicago Bears had a chance at tying this game, and we know that Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears offense and offensive coordinator elected for the time to run down, and they didn't have a chance at kicking a field goal to tie the game and send it into overtime. The Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, he was on a radio show earlier this week saying that they didn't play up to par versus the Buffalo Bills. We know that. You gave up almost over 600 yards and 48 points to the Buffalo Bills. Now, since you're playing a divisional opponent, and I predicted at the end of at the start of the season that the Detroit Lions would sweep the Chicago Bears, they should go ahead, march into the Windy City, and sweep the Chicago Bears because Caleb Williams, this was a learning year for him. Matt Eberflus, he got fired late last month. The defense, they have a good defense. They need to keep building around the defense. The Chicago Bears will be a force to be reckoned with. Not next season, possibly next season into 2026 or 2027. But as of right now, I got Detroit winning this game, going away. Like I said, division games will be close, but the one exception I might need to make this week for this division game is the Detroit Lions, because Detroit Lions, they did not look great at the end of the Buffalo game last week. The next game I'm going to cover is the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Mistake by the Lake versus the Bengals of the Jungle. Now, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, he might come back. He is coming back because his entire contract is guaranteed. And if I was him, I would say to myself, you know what? The hell with it. I ain't suiting up for the Cleveland Browns. You're paying me no matter if I play or not. So if I was Deshaun Watson, I'd just come to the game and be a spectator and watch the game, because the Browns offensive line has been under par for the last, I'm going to say, 12 out of the last 14 years, the Browns offensive line has been under par. The Cincinnati Bengals, we need to investigate what Zach Taylor has been doing from off-season minicamp to September, because it's something that goes on between that time where The players aren't really taking practice seriously. And then before the season really gets started, they're already in a 2 or 3 game hole. So Cincinnati, they need a lot of stuff to happen for them to make it to the playoffs. And I'm going to give y'all the playoff clinching scenarios for the Cincinnati Bengals. First off, Cincinnati, they have to win out. Then they need the Denver Broncos to lose their final 3 games. They need the Miami Dolphins to lose one of their final 3 games, and they also need the Indianapolis Colts, who have a 2% chance at making the playoffs. They need the Indianapolis Colts to lose one of their final 3 games. If all of that happens, then Cincinnati gets in. With this game, Cincinnati, I have them winning this game by 10 points because Cleveland, what you need to do, get ready for the draft. Cincinnati, I don't know what has happened to the defense, but that is the only trepidation I have with the Cincinnati Bengals is their defense. Now, T. Higgins, he might not come back. Jamar Chase, he's under contract. Joe Burrow, he has one of the richest contracts in the NFL as far as at quarterback position. And you have a deteriorating offensive line that is pretty much unraveling before our very eyes. But all in all, you should be able to win this game. You should be. But playing against division rivals, a division win is easier said than done. The next game I'm going to cover is the Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts. Another team, Tennessee Titans, get ready for the Cleveland Browns need, and you also need an organizational overhaul in other ways than one. But for this game, Indianapolis, you should win this game outright. But just like I say, Anthony Richardson, he's had a subpar season. Some games he's up, some games he's down. But Indianapolis should win this game because of one thing, that turnover machine that is Will Levis. Will Levis has 12 interceptions. He's thrown 12 interceptions this season. He has thrown 3 interceptions 3 times in the games that he has started this season. I have no confidence in the Tennessee Titans at all. I just don't. Because when you see the Tennessee Titans from where they started at to where they are at now, Tennessee Titans, a team coming into the season. Now let me tell you, they got not Stephen Ridley, but they got a wide receiver coming out of the draft, and they got another receiver coming from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody was saying that the Tennessee Titans offense should be good this year, but we see what have they put on tape for us to look at. A bunch of turnovers by Will Levis and a revolving door at quarterback. It has been Zach Mettenberger, Will Levis, and Mason Rudolph at quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. For the Indianapolis Colts, win your next 3 games, have a couple teams lose out, and you'll be in the playoffs. The next game I'm going to cover is the Los Angeles Rams versus the New York Jets. Los Angeles, they've won 3 straight games, and I think that more than likely they will win this game because Aaron Rodgers is on a downward spiral, has been on a downward spiral this season. And the New York Jets, we don't know what the offseason holds in store for them, but there will be a lot of changes coming from the New York Jets organization starting starting right after the season, immediately after the season. The Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cam Akers, that's the big three for the Los Angeles Rams. And I expect all three of them to have a good day offensively. And I expect the Los Angeles Rams to leave the Big Apple with a close win, but they are going to win outright. The next game I'm going to cover is a potential playoff matchup, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. And currently, right now, the Washington Commanders are at the 7th spot in the NFC playoff picture. The Philadelphia Eagles are currently the 2nd spot in the NFC playoff picture. Philadelphia, they should win this game outright. They will win this game outright because the Washington Commanders, they have had a tough time as far as neutralizing running backs. And as far as the exact stat, they are 19th in yards allowed when it comes to running backs. Philadelphia, as far as their passing game, they need to expand their playbook when it comes to the passing game, because in the playoffs, you are going to need your passing game and running game to deliver you wins in the playoffs and a possibility at going to the Super Bowl if you are lucky. So Washington, they are a young, up and coming team. They've had a good season. I believe that they will make it to the playoffs, but lose in the first round. But Washington Commanders, they have so much potential building and going into next season, because Washington, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with come next season and seasons to come. Philadelphia, possible Super Bowl team this year. They are in a 3-team race for the number 1 seed. It's Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings. They are all at 12-2 right now. If the Philadelphia Eagles win out, and the Minnesota Vikings lose 1 game, and the Detroit Lions lose 2 games, Philadelphia will automatically become the number 1 seed in the NFC. This game, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game by a touchdown, because I just think that last week, the Steelers defense stopped Saquon Barkley in his tracks. This week, Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley, he will have over 100 yards in this game alone, because the Commanders defense, they've had trouble stopping running backs all season. The next game I'm going to cover is the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, you have your quarterback at Bryce Young. Please do not disrupt the process, because you all are building for next year and for seasons to come. Now, Arizona, a team that I predicted to be at the bottom of the barrel in the NFL this season, has a chance at making the playoffs. If they win the next 3 games and have the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks lose one of their next 3, they automatically become the NFC West champions. I think this game versus Carolina, Arizona will have a good day in this game, and I expect them to win a close game by I expect them to win by a field goal in this game, because Carolina, I like what I'm seeing when I look at their tape. Carolina, they are a team. Well, now Carolina is a team that they have the players buying into what Dave Canales has, and they are buying into the offense and defensive coordinator schemes in Carolina. Arizona will win this game by a field goal. The next game I'm going to cover is the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, you are in a position, you have a 38% chance at making the playoffs. You have got to win your next 3 games. If Seattle wins their next 3 games, they're automatically in the playoffs, barring the Rams losing a game and the Arizona Cardinals losing 2 games. They will be in. Minnesota, on the other hand, I read Minnesota all wrong. I thought that Minnesota this year was just going to be an average team with Sam Darnold at quarterback, but Sam Darnold has shown everybody in the NFL that he is worthy of a big time contract. The same, and what I'm hearing that Sam Darnold, he might receive the same type of contract that Baker Mayfield received this past offseason. Going into next season, he might be on another team. Will Minnesota bring him back? We will see at season's end. But as of right now, I got the Minnesota Vikings winning this game. It will be a close game, but I have them winning this game by a field goal. And currently, they are favored by 3 points. The next game I'm going to cover is the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is going to win this game throughout. They are going to win it in a blowout. This game is going to be over at halftime. So I am just going to Buffalo Bills are favored by 14 points. I see them winning this game by 3 touchdowns or more. Now on to the next game I'm going to cover. Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders. This is a game. This is a battle for draft picks, because whoever loses this game will have the better draft pick. So this game is the less of 2 greater goods, because Vegas has had a underperforming season. Jacksonville has had a underperforming season. If I'm a betting man, I would stay away from this game, because you don't know who is going to win this game. You just don't. But since I am not a betting man and I am just a journalist, I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game, because Las Vegas, they've had a revolving door at quarterback. And like I said, Mark Davis, he is a spitting image of his dad. Mark Davis, he goes off of names. He doesn't hire a coach because of their resume. He hires a coach because of their name and how many championships they have won. But outside of that, Mark Davis doesn't actually know what he's doing when it comes to hiring head coaches. The next game I'm going to cover is the San Francisco 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. Both of these teams are in dire need of a win. If either one of these teams loses this game, that is it for their season. This is a game where I wouldn't be surprised if this goes into overtime, and the possibility of this game being ending in a tie is 2%. Miami offense has been sputtering all season. San Francisco, they've had injuries galore. Miami should win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco somehow got on the good foot in the middle of this game and won this game by taking control. The next game I'm going to cover is Sunday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams are fighting for a playoff spot. I credit my Dallas Cowboys, because it seems like that the middle part of the season, it seemed like we wasn't even going to have a chance at being in the playoff conversation. But Now, there's two things that has to happen for the Dallas Cowboys is win out and have the Washington Commanders lose the next lose the next two games. And then in week 18, it will be a winner take all matchup for a playoff spot in the NFC, because both teams at that point will be 9-7, 9-7, and plus, excuse me. The Dallas Cowboys will be 8-7. If they win that, they will be 9-7. And the Washington Commanders will also be 9-7 going into week 18. But as far as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for the rushing attack for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've had a good season. Bucky Irvin. Sometimes it's been Chris Godwin. Sometimes it's been Mike Evans running the ball. Even though he's a wide receiver, they have a couple package plays for him. But let me tell you now, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, when it comes to their rushing defense hasn't been up to par. And you have the Dallas Cowboys finding their rhythm when it comes to their rushing game. So this game right here, it is going to be tight throughout. I am loving this game right here. And I am not biased, but in a game like this, what do I always say? Baker Mayfield is prone to throw 2 or 3 interceptions in a game like this, and I expect my Dallas Cowboys to win this game because Dallas Cowboys have been an underdog throughout most of this season. Tampa Bay, they have been a team that has been an underdog, but now they've won the last 3 games, and they have a possibility of winning the NFC South either this week or next week. But I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this game by, I'm going to say, a field goal. And the final game of week 16, the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers. This is another blowout game. I see the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, I see him spreading love all around the field to his wide receivers, Christian Watson, J.K. Dobbins, their tight ends, and the running backs for the Green Bay Packers will have a good game, and the Green Bay Packers defense will have a good day, and also they will force 2, maybe 3 turnovers from the New Orleans Saints. So as far as this game, Green Bay, they will be 11-4. Currently, they are at the fifth spot in the NFC playoff picture. And I see them staying right there in the NFC playoff picture at number 5. And with that, those are my predictions and outlook for week 16 of the 2024 NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Please like, share, follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing, everybody in the chat. The key is always on time. Have a good day, everybody.